Hello, guys. Listen, there are many black swans out there right now that are attacking the world's financial system. And it's like they're coming in. It's like, which one's going to be first to bring the system down? The system's ready to collapse. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa or pizza. Anyway, we're going to talk about Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is a contender to be the one that brings down the world's financial system. Italy's another contender. The Chinese shadow banking system is another contender. The Chinese real estate market is another contender. The Canadian economy and real estate market is another contender. And believe me, it can bring the economy down just like Italy. The Canadian. It's big enough. It's a big enough real estate market that's connected into the banking system that it could cause a derivative shortage. But what we're here to talk about is Deutsche Bank. Because Deutsche Bank seems to be a little bit ahead of them all. They're all vying for the chance to bring the world's financial system down. But Deutsche Bank's at the top of my list, and Deutsche Bank hasn't been doing so good. They're trying to use something called austerity. Anyway, let's get the charts going right here, and let's take a look at this austerity, what they're trying to do. First off, rats will jump off of a sinking ship. Honest to God. This was the banker right here that deserted Deutsche Bank. He got the heck out of Dodge. His name was John Kyan. And he was the last guy that got out of Dodge. So let's take a look at Deutsche Bank stocks. What's Deutsche Bank stock doing today? I'll tell you guys, it ain't doing so good. That's red line. It shows what's been doing for the last month, over the last month. And what you can see there is a steady decline. Now, the other news sources aren't onto this story right now. They've been on it before, and they've dropped the story because it's not sensational enough. But I'm going to tell you what. A $55 trillion derivatives book is pretty damn sensational when that hits the proverbial fan. Because that's more than the entire world's economy. $55 trillion nominal derivatives book that this bank has. That's such a big bank. And so what are they doing right now about this? What is Deutsche Bank actually doing to try to save themselves? And why is their stock prices continuing to slide? Okay, let's take a look. Deutsche Bank right now is trying to save themselves with this new guy. He has come in and he has stepped into the breach where John Cryan, the previous guy, was smart enough to step out. This guy has stepped in. Probably because it's quite a powerful position and everything else, and it can move you up a little bit in the world, but do you really want to take the helm of a ship that's sinking? That's what I want to know. But this guy evidently has, and he thinks that he can save it. But nobody's taking him seriously. Because the clock is ticking down on this bank, and he's trying to save it by cost cutting. He thinks that's what's going to save the bank. But what you have to realize is cost cutting on a bank, and the bank doesn't become so viable anymore. It starts to shrink, and it becomes less and less. And then it's like the same old story that the governments try to save themselves by raising taxes. That don't work, because the higher you raise taxes, the less the economy is able to produce taxes. And that's the same way with this bank. The more cuts he makes into this bank, the harder it's going to be for this bank to survive. This means this bank's not growing. This means this bank is shrinking. And this bank is going to, in the end, take in less and less money. Because how a bank makes money is they make money by lending money out. And this bank is going to have more and more problems. This bank's going, between you and me, this bank has been like a person that's drowning, but they're doggy paddling. That's what this bank's doing. They're like keeping their head barely above water. Their lungs are half full of water and they're ready to drown. That's what this bank is. So let's read a little bit more. It says saving, cutting away. This is what German bank chief Suing, his name is Suing, wants to make the turnaround with all of his might. So he's trying his best. Honest to God, he's trying his best. It says he is uncompromising, but it is questionable whether the savings alone is enough. And in the end, it could be another solution. They're not saying it. Bankruptcy. It says, let's see, let's read down here a little bit. The pressure is on the 48-year-old is enormous. So this guy's, you know what? I'm going to tell you what. He looks good for 48 years old, almost 50-year-old man. He doesn't look his age. But he's going to look his age. This is going to age him about 10 years per year. He's aging at the speed of dog ages right now because of all the pressure that's on him. Anyway, it says the pressure is on the 48-year-old. It's enormous. It says, however, team spirit alone is unlikely to be enough to bring the institution, which has been teetering for years, back on track. For this, Suing and his family would have to achieve all that their predecessors have failed despite their great promises to bring down costs. So it looks like he has reduced 1,700 jobs within 3 months. So he's basically chopping the bank to pieces to try to save it. It's basically what he's doing. So listen, guys, this is basically your update on Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is not doing good. Here's what happened in the last month. And if we go back 5 years, we can see this steady decline. And we don't see any real way out. It's just a slow decline. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if this decline continues. If the decline continues at a certain point, it'll pick up pace and it'll go really fast. And it'll be a Lehman moment when Deutsche Bank goes down, except Lehman times 10. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.